Okay, there it is.
I had to consent. It said recording in progress, and I had to be like, that's okay
Yes.
with me.
Yes, you have to consent for that. That's so strange. It's what it
well,
is.
well, I mean, that's the law.
That's true.
Um, get that consent, kids.
No means no.
Shit, yeah, it is. Welcome, welcome,
100%.
welcome to the TCAT 10-minute take. It is I, your host, Shrey Elstort. And with me, as always, is my competent, intrepid, outer space co-host, Don the Legend Chambers. And one of these days we're gonna do like a real TCAT full episode. I don't know when that's gonna happen ever again. Where Don's the host and I'm the co-host, but it bees what it do right
It
now.
beats what it do.
I say I'm the host and he's the co-host, but like that literally doesn't mean anything other than the fact that I do the intro and he does the outro. Like that's it.
That's it.
And I'm the keeper of the timer. But today we're going to talk about something. What are we talking about?
Thor, Love, and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
Yes.
But before we get started, make sure you click that subscribe button and you click that bell to get all the 10-minute takes as soon as they drop. And that's why I'm the host, because I remember to say that.
You do, because I never remember that except to the end.
Yep.
When I'm literally thinking about it.
Yeah, because you have to think about your segue.
Exactly.
All right, so you can go first, as always. Go.
Thor, Love and Thunder, directed by Taika Waititi. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just cut to the chase on this here. This is the second Marvel movie in a row that has truly disappointed me. It has disappointed me in a different way than how Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness disappointed me. This one disappointed me because I didn't know I was walking into like a TV comedy where it's just a laugh a minute knocking them out. I thought I was going to see maybe some type of space adventure with like a villain that maybe might be a little scary and some stakes in there. No. And some people might be like, well, his other movie, Thor Ragnarok, it was the same thing. No, it wasn't, because literally maybe 2 days later, I said, let me check Thor Ragnarok. Maybe I'm crazy. And honestly, no, there's humor in there. Absolutely. But that movie had a much, I don't want to say it was like some deep, dark, whatever, but that movie had more of it had more behind it, with Thor trying to grapple about who he is without the hammer, and Anthony Hopkins as Odin being gone. And there was not this joke every other line thing coming through. Granted, it had some humor in it. Thor was definitely much more of a human god in there, but he did not deliver these one-liners. I mean, Thor Love and Thunder, he was almost like a buffoon to me. And I'm like, is he not supposed to be like the god of thunder? Should not he have a little bit of something behind him? And then the Gore villain, I'm thinking how they're trying to set him up to be what he is. I'm like, okay, but it all came off, even his origin. I'm like, should I be laughing? I mean, they're trying to paint this almost as a comedy. So the whole thing, I'm just watching and I'm like, I feel no stakes. I feel no excitement. It looks pretty. Some of the action is okay, but it just didn't hold me or grab. I mean, I would have thought the Jane Foster thing where when she becomes Thor, spoiler alert, but
it's not a spoiler, it's in the paid ad.
But what I'm about to say, that every time she becomes Thor, it's sort of could have been something a bit stronger, a bit more emotional. It was.
I'm gonna bleep that all out.
You can do that. I mean, even Russell Crowe as Zeus, he was such a joke. I'm like, this is supposed to be Zeus, king of the, the gods? What? No, I absolutely did not. I was just like, not even so much so bored, but so disappointed because I'm like, this is such a joke. Like, how does Thor is one of the most powerful heroes within the MCU, and he is an absolute buffoon in this movie. I'm just like, Thor basically is as funny as what Ant-Man should be. And it's like, are you kidding me? Did not like it, did not care. I mean, they obviously told Taika that, hey, amp it up, really do what you do best, seeing as how well Ragnarok was received, which was fine. A little bit of humor, there's nothing wrong with that. But they turn that up to 10 or 11, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
I don't agree. But where would you put it on our scale?
Okay, if it comes on Disney Plus, save it for like a Sunday when you're doing laundry and it's just on in the background, and then you can watch it that way. Don't waste your time paying for a ticket. Do not. Don't.
I don't agree,
No.
man. Okay, I feel like, yes, it is definitely a comedy.
Yeah.
It's more of a comedy than even Ragnarok was, and I felt like Ragnarok really struck a nice balance of comedy and serious. And I felt like this definitely went a little bit too far into the comedy space that it didn't need to, and there was a lot of stuff in there that was unintentionally funny, maybe, or played for jokes rather than played for story, we'll say.
Okay.
I do, and they sacrificed some of the, and it almost felt like that masculine, I hate to say that, reflex of when things get too emotionally heavy to pull back into humor, instead of letting that really, like, living in that space of dealing with your feelings. Because this movie was definitely about bringing Thor completely full circle and learning how to love and be loved, because like his whole journey of becoming worthy of being Thor and now being as powerful as Odin was about him kind of going through these steps to realize his true potential in different ways. As far as, like, being honorable and being loyal, and not physical strength, not necessarily everything, and being a good brother and being a good friend and learning how to love somebody. And so I feel like that's the message that this movie wanted to convey, but it like was pulling its punches on that, instead of letting it really like land and live in that space. It would deflect with humor that wasn't really necessary. But I don't feel like it was a terrible movie. I mean, obviously it was beautiful. It was very well made, and like the set pieces and costumes and casting and all that jazz was right in line with the Marvel machine where you expect it to be. Like, nothing looked bad. Like, it looked great. Even things that were stupid looked great. Like, better than it should. But I mean, like, and I wasn't bored. I do feel like Valkyrie was a bit wasted. Like, she had things to do and places to go that didn't manifest and materialize. I did love I loved the first half of the movie. Like, I felt like the whole Christian Bale setup was really strong. Like, his character was really strong. And then the payoff is where they lost me at the end.
It wasn't his character in that first part setup. It was then meeting the gods. And then that I was like,
Well, because that set us into the gods are kind of jokes.
Right.
Like,
well, I
territory.
guess you could have looked at it that way, but I didn't, at least for me, I didn't necessarily feel it. I didn't feel that they took it serious enough for when he truly feels betrayed by the gods with his daughter dying to then go into this, I am killing them all.
Right. Like
it was played so much for jokes that I was like,
they took this really serious, beautiful beginning and then immediately pulled back on it. And that seemed to be the theme throughout the movie. It's like they have like this really serious, beautiful moment, and then you get like a fraction of a second on it, and then it pulls back on it and makes like an unnecessary joke that sometimes lands, sometimes doesn't. But it doesn't let you live in any of the beauty of any of the moments. And that's kind of unfortunate. I really like Taika Waititi as a director. I do feel like this should have been tempered. I don't know why Ragnarok worked so much better. I don't know what the formula was that was different, but this definitely
you said it perfectly. It
was
a good balance.
Right. I don't know what's different in the movie making, if it's like a different editor or a different writer or like a different honestly, collaboration system.
I think the MCU said he can go more into what he does.
Right. Like you can't go full Taika. Like you can't go, like you have these auteur directors who are great, like George Lucas, when you think about, the original Star Wars. But he had a lot of tempering forces in those original movies. And then when you get to the prequels, he went full Lucas with no oversight and things go off the rails. Or you have like, and it's almost like a parody of what a George Lucas movie, or like that one that I keep talking about on Netflix, like it's like a parody of a Scorsese movie. Like it doesn't feel, it feels like it's too much. Like it's like I don't know, like a caricature, a drag queen version of that director's style. Like this was almost too much. He went full Taika, and you got to go like half or 3/4 at best.
And full Taika works great in like What We Do in the Shadows.
See, I don't even feel like that's full Taika. Like I feel, like Our Flag Means Death is so funny to me. It's so good. But it's like it's tempered with like these real emotions that you kind of get to settle into, that we didn't get to settle into anything with Thor: Love and Thunder. But I do feel like it's worth at least a matinee. Like I'm not gonna say it's beautiful. It's really interesting to look at, and it's not a terrible movie. Like I would say it's worth a matinee. It's worth a theater ticket. It's just not worth the most expensive theater ticket. It's not worth like a full nighttime theater ticket with snacks and stuff. Like not in this economy, but yeah, that's true. That's where I put it.
That's true. Not in this economy, but what does work in this economy is a free subscribe and notification button. Doesn't cost anything. Nothing at all. Has no relation to inflation, baby. Bars. So just subscribe, hit that notification, and you'll be notified every time another 10-minute take hits you on YouTube or Hipcast or Apple Podcast or everywhere that we are at, that you can either listen or watch. Now, we disagree on this one. It happens sometimes. Okay.
It happens a lot of times.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, it happens quite a bit. All right. But doesn't mean you shouldn't go watch it, check it out for yourself. Maybe it'll work for you. Who knows? But till next time, see ya.